All right, we are live. This is Monday. Tales from Flipside. Yeah. So, big things with Neil Gaiman. We have some CGC talk to talk about. We have some other things to talk about. So yeah, we'll get it started, and we'll see how this goes. So here we go. Let's knock this out the park here. Okay. So, speaking of CGC, they announced their revised services and fees for 2025. I feel like every year they just raise the price, but we'll see how that goes. I am trying to find. Let me go back to the chat because it was in there.
Yeah, so let's see. Because I actually just sent some stuff off to them. So
I should have. I knew I should have. I mean, I still have a little bit of time, I think, but.
Well, what's funny is I sent this up, like I packed this up on Christmas Eve, or sorry, New Year's Eve. So. Yep. So yeah, I'm just trying to figure out, do the math real fast on what prices were before the change because I sent. So let's see.
Cards. Announcing, chasing. This is the old one, I think. Here we go. So this was 2024. Look at this. Look at what I do for you. So this is 2024. I just found this article. 2024 was moderns were 25. If you had a discount, so we'll say $20, right? We'll just go to the elite side. 20, 32, 68, right? 36 for moderns, for signatures, 48, 84. So what? $16 extra for signature series. It looks like per tier.
Yeah, I mean, it probably is fair. I mean, not trying to give them trying to shoot them any bail, but I think we probably should use the free tier because I'm pretty sure that's what this is based off of. Because otherwise, it does look just ridiculous. So it's
it's 25, 40, 85, and then it's $20 extra for signature series stuff. So 25, 40, 85. So remember those numbers: 25, 40, 85.
So it went up $2, and then $10 for the high value tier, and then the minimum for the unlimited tier went up by looks like $15.
$15, yep. And then reholders, reholders weren't on this, but I think they went up to from 20 to 25, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, and I mean, it used to be 15.
I know it used to be 15. Like, what the fuck, man? And custom labels. How much were custom labels? $4? I thought
they were $5 a piece.
$5. They went up to $8. So, I mean, not crazy, but I mean, it is when 10%.
I mean, I don't know. Like, it's funny because like the first time this happened after years, it was the height of everything, and people's argument was, they were undervaluing it, and so everybody was shipping in books and things like that. Well, I mean, we can all admit at this point, like the graded market has, like the comic book market in general has slowed considerably, which means in turn, the graded stuff, which accounts for probably less than 20% of the market, realistically, has reduced also. So I guess now it's like, well, what's the argument for this price raise? Because you can make the argument, it was an undervalued service before, and they were getting bombarded. Now it's we're not making money, so we have to raise our prices to account for we're not making as much money. It's like either you're doing too well and you can't keep up with the demand that's on you, or you're not doing well enough and you need to raise your prices. But
so they hired a bunch of people, and I think they let a bunch of people go. And look at the days. Like vintage, like I'm spending books 97 days right now. If I don't do fast track, with 97 days, that's what, almost 3 months, 4 months.
Well, I mean, that's 3 months if you don't include if you include weekends, that's closer to 6 months.
Yeah. So I got books I got to send in, and I'm going to wait 6 months unless I fast track them for $15 a piece. So usually they were 50. Now it's $55, right? So, or more now because it went up. This is probably the old one still. So, and that's probably 2 months.
Roughly. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This thing's starting to not really make sense anymore. I mean, it wasn't really making sense for a while there, but it's definitely like, are you guys trying? I mean, they're trying to muscle up their competition by adding in the verification services on Steam now, and now they've got the greater card business and all this other stuff. It's like, I don't know. It's just one of those like, where are we going with this at this point? Like,
so just to compare, vintage is still 40 for 20-day standards. So I mean, I don't know what, I haven't submitted to CBCS in forever. So, and the reholders are $12. So, I don't know, man. Do you go CBCS now? I mean, I know we all say it, but it's like, is it finally gonna, I know the hit, but still, it's like,
I mean,
does it really matter in the vintage world for me? Like, does it really matter CGC versus CBCS theoretically? I mean, I don't know.
I mean, honestly, I don't know at this point either. Oh.
I mean, would you buy a CBCS Golden Age book? I mean, does it even matter? I mean,
I would hope that we're dealing with Golden Age, like either company's doing their due diligence at that point.
It's funny. I typed in so I just typed in CBCS Golden Age, and it said results for CGC Golden Age. It's kind of funny to me. That's probably not a good look for Golden Age comics CBCS.
I mean, let's be real about it. I mean, anybody who's posting a CBCS book has to put in not CGC, so it shows up in the algorithm appropriately.
Yes, I guess let's go not CGC. And still getting screwed on the end. Yeah. So let's say Golden Age. Golden Age comics. Let's just do this. And I can't get anything on here. Super. More filters. Grade. It would be losing my mind here. Condition.
It should be under like certification or
grade. Publication. Yeah, it doesn't even have it on here. Super. Yeah. All I have is condition. Interesting. Signed. Not there. Okay. Super. Authenticity. Interesting. Okay. Well, anyways, that's kind of shitty, but or I can just do how about this? CBCS comics. Graded. Professional grader. CBCS. There we go. And then I give you this 45, only $45. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
it seems. I mean, obviously, everybody's just going with CGC. So, interesting. Because I mean, if I go back to this, if I go back, 807 over 45. So let me scroll in for people to see. So, ouch. Okay, so maybe it is go to CGC, but God, it just sucks. It's a monopoly cut so far. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. I mean, they can always still make the argument that it's not because there's two other companies out there, but
But it's like I don't even know. It would like McDonald's and like it's like Joe Blow's hamburger shop and like somebody else.
Yeah,
somebody,
I mean that's really
shit out their house.
I mean that's kind of where we are at this point. It is Nike in their heyday, Adidas and Converse. Like,
yeah, I wouldn't even say Converse. Shit, I would say probably like fucking no name shoes at fucking Payless or some shit.
Yeah. I mean, LA Gear. There you go.
Yeah, LA Gear, Fila.
Yeah, LA Gear eventually ended up in Payless. Like, so PGX is the LA Gear of '90s. Shoe.
Dude, if they put
I'm a great analogy.
If they put LEDs on their fucking like lights on their fucking slabs, woo boy, let's go. Okay, cool. Interesting. So we'll see how this all plays out. I mean, I kind of, it's like I gotta send them in, and it's just I'm just sitting in a pile over here. I'm like, God damn it. Okay. So Severance star Adam Scott from Step Brothers and all this other stuff. I'm not sure if he wants another comic book role after Madam Web. So we always talk about characters, Robert Downey Jr., all these other characters coming back to the superhero genre. And Adam Scott's like, nah, fam, I'm gonna pass after Madam Web. So,
well, I mean, there's a lot of people who, have made the decision that they're pretty much unwilling to come back to the genre, the fandom geekdom genre world. Like, what's his face from the guy who plays Cyborg? Pretty much is like, yeah, he'd never do another. At least he would never do another DC film again. John Boyega, I think, is unwilling to ever come back and work for Disney ever again. I mean, there's plenty of people who had bad experiences and are just like, nah, man, I'm just going to go do what I signed up for. Like, the big mainstream genre films of geekdom aren't for me. And yeah, they're making that turn and never looking back, because it's from what I know, it's a different beast than doing your small comedies or doing like a Severance or some type of art house situation. It's just being at the mercy of, we don't even have a legitimate script in these cases, because like so many years later you find out from like oral histories and things when people can speak freely about what was happening on set, and it's just like, yeah, man, we didn't even have a script, we were just winging it type of situation.
Yeah,
I don't know. I wouldn't even take that as I want more money per se. I'd honestly take this as like, this movie did nothing for me and only served to kind of tarnish. I mean, yeah, he got paid, but there's a such thing as taking like what a bad movie can do to your career at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Versus whatever immediate return on the investment. I mean, like, he was what, the third person on the call sheet. Honestly, no. I mean, probably when the movie was made, he was probably the third person on the call sheet. By the time it came out, he was like the fourth or fifth person on the call sheet, because Sydney Sweeney had jumped up to being, a major tier, it girl in Hollywood at that point. But yeah, I think his name being attached to a stinker, whatever money he got paid, a couple mil off of this or whatever, probably doesn't help that, he was attached to a really shitty film. So
yeah, well, and the fact that happens, and it's like, you only can take so many L's before you become Hollywood, I guess, blackballed for less of a better word, but it's like,
yeah, I mean, well, and that's if you're the lead guy. Like, I mean, being the character that, basically the Uncle Ben character that nobody can even really remember from the shitty Sonyverse movies. Like, again, that's like trying to go back to the canon era Dolph Lundgren Punisher film and being like, who was like the third Bill person in that movie? You probably can't remember.
Well, for every Rock, right, or Dwayne Johnson, there's thousands and millions of other actors who he's just an entity on his own. So I mean, it's just
yeah, and I mean, with Severance being what it is, like him being more on the rise now. I mean, like, he was never like a top tier guy, but he's getting some looks now based off of Severance that he wasn't getting, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, because he's been around for a minute. Like, he's a known quantity in Hollywood, but he's more of a role player, a big character type guy. Yeah, I mean, doing this type of stuff, unless he's the lead, is like, unless he's lead, or they're paying crazy money for him to be the number 2 or 3 guy on the call sheet, it really isn't advantageous to his career to make those type of movies.
And for me, like Severance, like I'd rather have a hit TV show a la Breaking Bad, right? Than, I guess, maybe one good 2 movies in your whole career and have 5 stinkers, I guess. I mean, look at Cranston. He can go out and do anything now theoretically because of Breaking Bad, right? I mean, he could be, he doesn't even have to be the main person, right? He did that one rom-com and was like the dad of the show, which is, I mean, he's been a dad in TV series and stuff, but it's just like, he can go back to that and, or whatever he wants to do, and doesn't have to be the top billed guy. And, he's not going to be an action star or anything like that. So,
I mean, it's funny that you mentioned that because, I mean, they're bringing back Malcolm in the Middle. And so, and again, before he finally made his transition, who am I thinking of? The guy, Punisher.
John Bernthal.
Yeah, John Bernthal is very much so completely happy to go back and do a small role in somebody's random television show. Like, I had forgotten how many different things John Bernthal has done, both small art house films. Like, I'm watching Slow Horses right now, so I looked up the actress who plays Allison is in that, and I was like, where do I know her from besides House of the Dragon? Went back and looked, and she was the girl in Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl. John Bernthal was in that.
Oh.
Like 12 years ago, John Bernthal was in Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl. Like, I mean, coming off of season 1 or season 2 of Walking Dead. So it's just one of those things where it's like, and to use him as an example, it's like being in quality stuff gets you more opportunities than trying to hit the home run. Like, getting on base is a lot better for people's careers than trying to be in the home run thing. And being the guy who was in the thing that struck out, like a Madam Web isn't going to be good for you, So yeah, stick to Severance, stick to your smaller art house films, unless you can pull a Mark Ruffalo where you do the one for them to pay for the 5 for you.
Yeah,
that's kind of his approach. It's like, I use the Marvel movies to pay for these small art house films that get me Oscar nominations, or it's the stuff I really want to be doing. Because I mean, every other movie that guy touches is like Oscar nominated or Golden Globe nominated, versus being a big Marvel thing. Like, he doesn't want to be a major Hollywood star in that capacity. He's cool with being the guy who's going to win a Golden Globe or be in a movie that was nominated for an Oscar. So,
yeah, and I think too, like, I guess it'd be kind of like in some aspects like Brian Cox, right? Like, he just did Succession. He does a lot of I would say TV series at some point. I know he did a lot of movies, but still, it's just like, when you get in your old age, you're like, just go into TV. Like you said, you can't be an action star forever, unless you're like Liam Neeson, and stuff like that. But or like Matt Bourne and all that stuff. But it's like Matt Damon and all that stuff. But it's like TV, being a business TV guy. Look at like all those other guys. That's what I do. Make Thomas commercials. That's funny.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
that's what's huge. The entire cast was lied to Madam Web by Sony, I think, too. So,
I mean, I think
or misled.
Yes, Sony's been playing this game going as far back. Well, Sony and Fox both have been playing this game for years. Of the make it seem like this is a part of the MCU, make it seem like it is, it's got a more connective tissue than it actually does. I'm looking right now to see when did this get green. When did Madam Web get greenlit?
Oh boy, it was. I want to say it was 2023. Does that sound about right?
It looks like Sony actually started working on the script or hired somebody to work on the script back in 2019.
Yeah, 2020 began. Yeah, 2019, 2020. Yeah, it is.
So I could wholeheartedly see when these people got cast. It was, we hadn't had like all the strikeouts of the Sony extended universe. I think at that point we had only had Morbius for the most part, because Venom had been successful. Like, say what you will, but the first two Venoms made money. The first Venom made a lot of money. So yeah, if you're Sony and again, I get Brad's point of be pickier about your scripts, like, absolutely. But if you've got a team of people around you, you've got an agent, and they're just like, man, like, hey, look what this did for Tom Hardy. Look, how much money that made. Yeah, I
You
mean,
could spin off into other superhero movies. You could get your own superhero movie.
I think it made sense in 2019, 2020, 2021 when all these people got cast. Because again, Morbius didn't come out until 2022. So Sony hadn't had a string of failures in these like spin-off, SSU film series. So yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, absolutely pick better scripts. But I think based off of the success of the success of Venom, you would think that you picked a potential solid. Also, apparently they moved the need to back to Tony's point. They 100% moved the goalpost on this film. Like everybody who is coming about and talking about it now, Sydney Sweeney thought that she the script that she read had her in costume way more, and even the movie they shot. Let's be real about it, because those future scenes of Sydney Sweeney in full on Julia Carpenter Spider Woman get up. They filmed way more of that stuff than they actually put into the movie. Like that got reduced down considerably, apparently, according to everybody who was involved. So maybe he thought he was doing a bigger film.
And so Captain Marvel was 2019, which was terrible, but not as terrible as we've seen.
Well, Shazam, it made money. That's the thing.
Shazam, remember Shazam had a ton of hype.
Shazam made money also. Like
Avengers Endgame was 2019 too. Well, 2018, 2019, right? So,
yeah. We were still at a point when like all these movies were making money. So when all these people signed up, it hadn't started to slip yet.
Yeah, and Spider-Man, Far From Home, Joker. Yeah.
I mean, and even with a shit script, other MCU films that were not necessarily the best still made money. People still went and saw all three of those, or the first two Thor movies. The first one, not so great. The second one, god awful. Still made money. Like even the bad MCU films were just raking in cash. We hadn't seen the slip off yet from a financial standpoint.
Yep. And they're probably all doing like banking dollars, going to get 2 or 3 movies out of this and right into the sunset. Like you said, they do 12, 15 films, or like Scarlet or somebody like that. Like just right off in the sunset and do whatever you want for next year, the rest of your life. So
yeah, I mean, I think back to Fox with the Fantastic Four, like that second Fantastic Four, or sorry, the third Fantastic Four movie they did, where it was them trying to kickstart with Michael B. Jordan and Miles Teller and Rooney Mara, or is it Rooney or sister? Either one. The guy who was playing Doom wholeheartedly thought that their film was a part of the MCU. Like studios will absolutely misrepresent or tell actors whatever to get them to sign on, and will lean into things that aren't reality during the press junkets because they want these actors to say all the right things. They want to trick audiences into believing that this is part of a greater universe, but people have gotten smart and hip to this now. But yeah, them early days of the MCU, Sony absolutely was trying to lead people to believe that this was going to be part of, have ties to the MCU, or this is going to be the Fantastic Four, that these actors thought they were in the MCU and they really weren't.
And it's like Murphy's Law too, because you hear about all these like other movie franchises where people's passed on and it becomes a phenomenon, right? Or some big thing. And they're like, man, I should have done that. It's Murphy's Law, right? If Michael B. Jordan doesn't take Fantastic Four, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, does it become the greatest thing he missed out on? You know what I'm saying? I didn't mean he did Creed and all the other stuff, but I'm just saying,
Yeah, and I mean, again, going back to Adam Scott's career, I mean, as far as movies concerned, I mean, he hasn't, to my knowledge, been the lead of anything really. Like he's
a TV guy, man. Parks and Rec, like he's a TV dude.
Yeah, I mean, he's the number 2, the number 3, or even the number 4 guy in most of the films that he's been in. So his people are probably being like, hey man, if you want to make that transition to being a film actor, you need to take stuff like this. Like
and a leading role kind of guy. Like, you start with a small movie and then boom, 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 boom. So
yeah, so I mean, I can wholeheartedly be like, this made sense, from his team, and yeah, it wasn't the one.
We talked about CGC in the beginning, and then we talked about that's all we talked about. So you didn't miss much. Raising the prices on CGC.
But yeah, let's not beat a dead horse though. Let's keep it pushing. So
yeah. So I hate this article. TikTok shop rival whatnot, which I think is more like eBay live rival whatnot, raises funds at $5 billion valuation, which is interesting. I don't know. From a comics perspective, I don't see things that crazy and busy, but I mean, I'm not on there a lot, so I'm not gonna, poo-poo it. I know it's crazy busy when it comes to card breaking and all this other stuff. I see a lot of people on whatnot doing card breaks. Same thing with eBay Live. Valuations are valuations. It's getting people in the room and try to pump up your thing and see how many people you can get in the room that actually want to launch this thing. So.
Well, I mean, this sounds like, again, to kind of go back to a reference to the last conversation we had, this feels like, and again, not trying to shit on the TikTok folks the whatnot folks, but this feels like smoke and mirrors for real. Like investors who don't really understand what whatnot really is, basically we're like, oh, well, with the downfall of TikTok, we're an American-based company. Those people need to go somewhere, not realizing that they don't remotely do the same thing. They are.
And TikTok is more of a social media, Instagram, real kind of thing, not a comic or a collectible selling app, I guess.
Or, I mean, an anything selling app. Yeah. I mean, TikTok does sell shit. You have the TikTok shop. So maybe that is what they are. Maybe that's what they're pushing or, trying to sell to these investors, being like, well, the Temus of the world and all these, device makers and, bullshit head massagers, like they're going to need an outlet to go to. They're not going to go to Amazon. So maybe we can curry favor with them to come over to whatnot. But then again, though, it's like, are you going to have people on whatnot, doing, sponsored ads, or doing sponsored sales of items that they want to push?
Yeah.
I mean, I know they were kind of doing that with the comics. Like they were having people push, the comics that they wanted to push that were whatnot exclusives. But I'm like, are you going to start doing that with like foot massagers and bullshit, like knee massagers? And
it reminds me, so TikTok shop or TikTok in general just reminds me of, I hate to say it, like the QVC for like millennial kids. The QVC channel for millennial kids. It's like you're up late at night, you're hammered, you just jump out, you're scrolling through channels, QVC, and it's like boom, it's like here's a 2 a.m. Foot massager for 2 payments of $10 or something. And you just buy something. I mean, it's I mean, they're running to a Chinese site named Red Note. Interesting. Have you heard of that? I've never heard of that.
I have not, but that seems like it's going to have all the same problems. At least from an American standpoint. Like if the issue is the potential for people's data and analytics around U.S. audience being captured by somebody who has dotted line ties to China, all these people moving over to another app that is 100% connected to China, it's just going to have all the same problems.
Correct. Well, and I heard a rumor was Meta was interested in buying TikTok, but I mean, that's monopolized and all that crazy stuff.
Well, also, let's be real about it. I mean, I don't know what their numbers are for the U.S. market versus the rest of the world. I mean, rest of the world is still comfortably cranking out TikTok content. This is a U.S. band only.
Yeah. Well, and the thing too is like influencers, right? Like everybody can say what they want about influence. I guess theoretically we're influencers, even though we're not. But it's like, from that degree, for us, it's like influencers are going to go just where they can make money the fastest, right? Instead of TikTok, if TikTok gets shut down, their revenue stream has to keep going. They're going wherever the revenues, the big names are going, right? So it's like, for all the, I even know who's on TikTok, the Mr. Beasts of TikTok out there, you're going to jump somewhere else and then everybody else is just going to follow. So,
yeah. I mean, I will say this. I mean, as a side note or tangential notice, for all the people who had, livelihoods and careers that they had made off of being on TikTok and providing that type of short form content to people, it definitely sucks that that they're losing everything and you know, again, at the same time, people are going to be like, oh, you know, boo-hoo, you know, social media influencers or whatever. But it's like, yeah, these people found their niche, they found their success, and they built an audience. And now that audience is being, the platform in which they were using to build that audience is being ripped away from them. And a lot of these people are going to have to start over again. Like somebody I went to college with, she and her husband, you know, have been doing couples content on TikTok, which is, I mean, again, like, you know, say what you will about TikTok as a platform and that it can be harvesting content, things like that. What they're doing is absolutely harmless. It's amusing bullshit of just like a young mid 30 something couple comedic type stuff. And it sucks for them that now they have to reestablish all of that over on, you know, because I don't think it's nearly the number of followers on Instagram or Facebook or anywhere else. I mean, that content does pop up there, but again, it's not the same. So it's like, it just kind of sucks that, you know, for the people who are on, you know, platform number 3, because God forbid you were part of that Vine era as well.
Then that's what I'm gonna bring up. You had Vine. Vine moved to Instagram Reels, right? Instagram Reels moved to Snapchat. Snapchat moved to TikTok. So I think, I mean, you're a tech guy. I'm a tech guy. So it's like, you know, the internet is a evolution, you know, revolution kind of thing where it's like, you know, gone today, you know, alive tomorrow with a new something. You know what I'm saying? X, Twitter, or whatever you want. I mean, it's just gonna keep moving, right? You know, at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, if you made the mistake of getting on Quip or like signing up or getting a deal
Threads,
with Quip,
remember Threads and all this other shit.
I mean, you remember Quibi? Like Quibi was passing out deals like crazy and died, you know, during COVID or right after COVID.
So it's just interesting.
So
okay. And then I guess the thumbnail of the week is I guess was it New? Okay, so I read it. I read the longer version on was it the New Yorker who posted it? Was it
so
New York?
It's so the Vulture is like a subdivision of the New Yorker. It's like their like culture and, you know, their culture columnist type stuff. And yeah, so that's where like, so this started actually with the podcast Master back in the summer, but I didn't catch a lot of this stuff when that was happening. Then I must have been under a rock or something. But I vaguely remember hearing about the allegations from the Master podcast. And now Vulture, as of today, dropped a article in the New York Magazine talking about like they interviewed 4 of the 8 women that brought allegations up against him, 5 of which of them are involved in interview for the Master podcast. But yeah, it is not looking good for Neil Gaiman. If even 1% of all this is true, like, boy, he is a terrible, terrible person.
And it's like, I mean, Netflix didn't comment, you know what I'm saying? And he's got stuff in the works, right? So obviously the new Sandman, whatever his Amazon, what was his Amazon thing?
So Good Omens got axed for the third, or this upcoming season got turned into a 90-minute like episode. There's no telling, like since Netflix won't officially come out and put a word out, we don't know if Dead Boy Detectives got axed because of this stuff that came out during the summer. But yeah, the new season of Sandman and the new premiere of A Nazi's Boys comes out on Amazon sometime this year as well. So yeah, American Gods has long since been gone, but that was like way before any of this stuff came out.
And for all that stuff,
So yeah, I mean, and then this starts to bring up the question. I had this conversation with my girlfriend before I hopped on. I told her about this, and she is a fan of, you know, the Sandman stuff and a lot of other Neil Gaiman works and things like that, like, you know, Good Omens and things like that. So it's like, how do you? I mean, you got to make a judgment call on like how you like deal with this from being a fan of the work perspective and that whole separation. But I personally have never been one for the separate the art from the artist type shit. Like, if you're a piece of shit and it comes out that you're a piece of shit, then that's the end of me indulging in your content. Like,
you got to be responsible for what's on the paper and what's in, you know, real life, right?
Yeah,
it's like a wrestler, right? You know, of a wrestler. Look at Hogan, right? So Hogan came back from Raw. Spoiler, if Carter's listening. He came back from Raw, got booed the shit out of, right? for a real American beer thing. It's like, yeah, when you're a piece of shit, man, like, fans can only take so much, and that dude's got so many chances, right? I mean, so.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you get out there, and I mean, the phone recordings of him saying, the crazy shit that he said in the past, and like how he behaved with who his daughter was dating, sleeping with who was it, Bubba the Love Sponge's wife. Yeah. I'm just like, yeah, and I mean a lot of that stuff is for the most part ancillary. I mean, other than the MAGA stuff. And then you have people like this, like there's musicians, R. Kelly is dead to me. Don't listen to his music. Like you get no spins off of me on.
Yeah, look at Diddy, right? Diddy, same thing with Diddy, right?
Yeah, Diddy. Kanye, and it's like there's people that I really enjoyed their music historically, but I'm like, yeah, you're dead to me now when when this type of shit happens. And again, it's allegation at this point, but I have a sinking suspicion that this one might come out as being very much so true and proven, because again, I don't recommend people go out there and read the entire article and allegations because it is hard to stomach a lot of stuff that was said. And yeah, like it's a bunch of people who did not interact with each other, having the same thing being said amongst their stories at different time periods, and without their ability to collaborate and corroborate each other's stories. They are confirming each other's stories independently of each other.
Correct.
So it's like, well, this person said that you did this. This person said that you also did this shit. And these two people ain't never talked to each other. So there's certain things that are true and consistent amongst the stories of multiple people who have never interacted with each other, who didn't know that they were all being interviewed. Because we're talking decades apart. Like somebody from like the 90s, somebody from the 2010s, somebody from as recently as 2022, and I'm just like, nah.
Well, the thing too is like, right, it's when you watch crime podcasts, like it's like something, it's like if it happens once, it usually happens again, a la like you hear things like Diddy, and it's not like one time thing and it's over. Like people do it over and over and over and over and over, for multiple decades, yada yada yada. So
yeah. Somebody was just like, no way any of you read Sandman off the shelf. Yeah, no, I was fucking 5 years old when Sandman came out. I was like, but I've read it. I have copies of it. I got
Yeah, I get it. Interesting. So that's kind of that whole thing. So that kind of adds the whole ambiance. We'll see what later stuff comes. I'm sure we'll have updates and stuff like that. That's all I have for the news. I just had those 4 things, and we can move on to the market report. And let me see where everything is going to go at the end of the day here. Okay. So the market report's interesting. I kind of grabbed some things that were just things I saw that were just interesting. We talk about Alien number 1. This is Alien number 298 that sold for $1,400. So usually you see Alien 198 go for a decent amount of money. This sold for $1,400. So just I didn't know it goes for $1,400. Somebody bought it for $1,400. So
yeah, I never hear anybody ever talk about Alien number 2. Like the number 1 first print is always the one that gets all the love. Oh, and Mill Geek Comics. That's the comic book shop that what's his name? That used to be Mr. like YouTube comic book guy. What is that dude's name? Comic Tom. Yeah.
Comic Tom.
Mill Geek Comics is Comic Tom's like LCS situation connective, like there's some connective tissue there of some sort.
Oh, okay. Yeah, more knowledge of that crap than me.
Well, I physically have set foot in there. I think they're up in like the Pacific Northwest somewhere. So I've actually gone into that shop before.
Nice, look at you. I just want to see how many is on the census of this because I don't really know. Dark Horse number 2. They have 2. Oh, they have a shit ton of these. There's a second printing. Hold on 1 second. 29.98. Interesting. So I guess kind of rare, I guess. There's 211 graded total, 53 9.6s. So I guess, okay. Another number 2. We always talk about blip 1, right? This is blip 2. So Blip 2 sold for a 9.6 roll to 350. So I'm just pointing these out. If you see like runs, it's not always number one. Number two can be valuable too. So like Blip 2 9.6s. I mean, 350 is not a bad gig. I mean, if you can get them for like super cheap.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just things I see. Me and Carter will probably talk about this one more, but a lot of Matt Baker comics for $1,000. So 3-3-3-0 or 2-3-5s and 3-0 for $1,000. So what's that? Almost $300 a piece. Not terrible.
Not bad at all.
So just things I see. Cap 38 sold for $25.94. Great bondage cover with the girl and Bucky and all these other people. Great action panels. So 4.0, nice copy. Looks solid. I'm not gonna go through all the pictures, but looks solid for $2,600.
Yep, so, A1 out of Sacramento.
Yep. Look at you. Let's go. Hopefully everybody's okay over there. I don't think it got to Sacramento. It was like Santa Monica, right? Santa Monica, LA, the fires kind of. So
yeah, I think for the most part it's contained. So I guess also that's a nice little segue. So anybody out there in the LA area, if you can, donate to a cause out there that is able to, put actual, supplies, food, and things of that nature in the hands of people who are, have lost things. Definitely try and donate. Like it is real bad out there. Most of my friends are more in the San Diego area, and they weren't necessarily affected by this directly. I mean, some of them do have family in the Los Angeles area, but yeah, it's just if you can do something to donate, please do.
Yeah, I know the NFL was pumping the Red Cross too. I guess the Red Cross is on the ground too. So
yeah.
I just put this on here because I thought it was interesting. Catwoman 1 signed sketch by Adam Hughes for $300, man. So, his sketches used to be pretty decent, but I mean, $300 for a Catwoman sketch isn't terrible in my opinion. It looks really good too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not terrible. It's not like he rusted or, it's simplistic and minimalistic, but still, I think well done. So, the Crow. Z was here. Crow 196, $2,500. So, that
I still haven't gotten around to watching the new Crow.
Same.
I'm not sure if I ever honestly will.
But I forgot it was even out. Like I'm saying on streaming. I don't even know where you could find it on streaming.
Yeah, but I will say that I was listening to a review of it, and it's funny because like I think in the same fashion as what happened with the first images of Leto's Joker. People made a lot of like snap decisions based off of the imagery that they saw. And a lot of people were kind of on that whole, like, not my Crow, like, old man, get off my lawn type of approach. And I get that wholeheartedly when they mess with the imagery of a character that you have come to love. But apparently, again, haven't had a chance to watch it, but from a review, or a bunch of reviewers that I trust, this actually has like a lot of connective tissue back to kind of that original era of like being like a very much so a golf swan song and things like that, and being very connected. Like it actually connects pretty well to that the golf culture of the 90s per se.
Well, the other thing too is I don't think anybody's gonna pay $6 to watch this movie. I hate to say it.
No, I mean it's got to be free on somebody coming up pretty soon. I mean, but yeah.
I mean, it was on Stars, but I don't think. I mean, Stars has their own app. Maybe it's on there.
Yeah, Stars has their own app, and they're just monetized through the app. So if it's on it, and it's free to watch. I can't help but think about though, like what would have been if the Jason Momoa one had actually happened.
Yeah.
So
yeah. A lot of common fact. Yeah. So this was original, like sketch on a blank from Adam Hughes for $300 roughly.
And I'm pretty sure the coloring was done by his wife, because she always does his coloring. So
yeah, and since everybody's actually trying to look at this book, I'll bring it up for everybody. Catwoman Hughes sketch. Give me 1 second here. I gotta go to sold. He's got a couple of these. If I do this for you guys, I do this. So I just want to show prices. So there's some for like big money. That's one's for $2,500, but it's a PGX. Some of these aren't colored. This is $5.99. Let's see if maybe I can get lucky and get the old. So some sign for like the non-colors went for like 150, 275. This one went for $2.99. And if I can do this, it says signed and sketched by Adam Hughes. So she didn't get any kind of credit on the coloring. So maybe he did color it.
That's interesting because she 100% always does. His coloring. I'm trying to look at one of the most recent signings that he did with CGC and see if you could get because I see remarks listed, but I don't see any actual sketches. So to the point of the person who said 300 slabs is low. Actually, you're not wrong because typically a remark of Adam with Allison's colors. So maybe they consider those to be remarks. I don't know.
Yeah. So this is a Allison song, like signed in color, like she got noted on PGX, but it's like, and she does a little.
So I mean, you're looking at if they consider this to be a remark, $345 for if you had gone through like the CGC in-house signing with the colors by her and the sketch and signature and all that good stuff. So so it's selling for that low would be that person basically losing money after it was all said and done.
Yeah, and here's a $600. This is a $600. It's obviously colored by Allison and sketched by Hughes, but just things I see. Walking Dead. Yeah, the Walking Dead one's dope. One's cool.
Yeah, I will say the character. So his LCS is my LCS, and it came out that like you're a lot more likely, and I think I mentioned this on the show before. You're a lot more likely to get a real quality drawing if you ask him to do a character he actually gives a shit about.
Yeah. And
the one that really seems to always get, like if we can find some examples of it, is Mina Harker, or Mina from the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Yeah, Mina Harker. So if you can find a Mina Harker, it's going to be super elaborate. She's usually going to have a very long red scarf on, like done to the nines typically. Like that's apparently one of his favorite characters to draw. So if you're getting a sketch by him, Mina will always look very well done.
Oh, because I put Cat Human. Sorry, but I'm like, why is it not showing up? I don't see anything yet. This is sold. I'll just do this. Like that in Harker.
Yep, there we go. So, I mean, that's so that was the sketch.
Yeah.
So you will get some it may not always be this, but you'll get some way more elaborate work out of him when it comes if you ask him to do characters that he really likes. So so you can see some of these are the sketches. So compare that to what that Catwoman was. Yeah. Probably cost you the same price realistically for those two pieces. Mm-hmm. So if it's a character that he's really into, you'll get way more of a elaborate drawing than if it's a character he's not into. Also, a lot of times, like apparently there was a show some years ago where he was basically doing it for, I think, charity or something like that. And if you asked him to draw a character that he was interested in drawing, he would do it, I think, for free. Yeah. But if you asked him to do a character he wasn't interested in, he just wouldn't do it. Yeah. So I think a lot of people just got turned down.
Yeah. And I've interacted with him on Instagram. He's really nice. I know he's extremely busy, but he's very nice. Indiana Jones is sick too.
I was gonna say, if you interacted with him on Instagram, you're probably talking to Allison.
And you probably, yeah. But
I was like, that man, do not message people and don't go back and forth. You are 100% talking to Allison if you're talking to him online.
Yeah, Starfire's sick. Yeah, he does some sick stuff.
Absolutely.
So I feel like I love Adam, but it's like sometimes it's hit or miss. I mean, it's art, so it's art, right? It's always gonna be hit or miss. It's like a tattoo, right? So, but sick shit. So okay, let's we'll keep it moving. Talking about the Crow. Doctor Strange Annual 198 sold for $575. Just no first appearances, no anything. It just thought it was interesting. So, I've never heard of this one. Fist of the North Star.
Oh, that is a classic, like, manga turned anime from, I want to say, the late 80s, I believe. So there's a lot of people where it's a toss up between Akira and Fist of the North Star being their first introduction as an American, their introduction to, to manga or anime. So it's usually either this or Fist of the North Star or Akira being one or the other. So it's just, this one is kind of like one of those cultural touchstones type situations.
It's 89. It's $250. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, I wonder if you can
find for a 9.6. I mean, because I'm thinking about, like, comparatively what the 9.6 of Akira #1 goes for.
I can look.
But yeah, to a lot of people, these two are kind of like, it's like 1A and 1B. It's like, were you growing up, were you a Sega Genesis person or were you a Nintendo person? It's like
it's like 180, 150 roughly for a 9.6 Akira one.
Yeah, so that makes sense. Like, I mean, like I said, I mean, again, I'm not, don't want to speak out of turn. Like, I'm not Mr. Big Anime. I know enough to be dangerous, and I'm a fan. But yeah, it's like these are like the two works that very much so were like almost kind of like dictated what path you took in your anime fandom. It's like, but yeah, Akira and Fist of North Star were those two respective pieces.
Yeah, I'm just looking. So #1, there's 6 9.6s. There's no 9.8s of this book.
Makes sense. I mean, it's probably a hard one to find, especially, I mean, again, because people would have had that same logic that people have with, weekly manga, where these things are like throwaways. So keeping them in good condition is something that most people weren't thinking about doing back then. It's like they were meant to be read and then you moved on.
Flintstones. So Dell Giant Flintstones. $900 for a 7.5. I have one of these, not in this great condition. Obviously, I got it for like next to nothing, but I just gotta watch these. So going up in price as we see throughout the years. Cool Marvel Comics. I like it because there's a devil in the middle. It's sick. $325 for just a 1.0 though, man. Crazy pricing. So a lot of shit going on in this comic. A lot of characters. So just things to see. Monsters of Frankenstein #1, highest graded 9.8, $1,600. So first appearance of the no, that's not the first appearance. It's the next one. So cool 1973 book. Here's another one, The Living Mummy, first appearance of The Living Mummy, $1,350 for a CGC 9.8. Supernatural Thrillers #5. So
speaking of, so slight segue, just because you mentioned Frankenstein and the Mummy. Creature Commandos, I think, strangely enough, only 7 episodes per season. Definitely, I mean, probably should have thrown it out here so we can talk about it, but I won't belabor the point. But worth your time. Really,
it's great. Yeah, I watched it.
Really, really good. Highly recommended. If this, I mean, again, you can say what you want about, he's going to, Guardians up my DC universe. It's like, hey, I'm not that married to DC, so anything to make it fun again, I'm down for. And
I really have fun rides than just shitty realistic movies. They're real,
like, I mean, let's be real about it. I mean, the other stuff was getting kind of edgelordy, and I'm just like, can we just have fun again? I mean, the characters who are known for being bright, fun, and enjoyable were also dark and depressing. I was like, Jesus Christ, it's Superman. How do you make Superman fucking depressing? So yeah, but either way though, like, the last episode was really good. I'm looking forward to season 2. I'm looking forward really to how they're going to pull forward some of these characters into live action, because that is ultimately their plan, is that all the surviving characters of the Creature Commando will eventually find their way into a live action. But yeah, it was solid. I enjoyed it, so I recommend it.
Just checking, I don't know, Mega Man 3, talking about DCU, Lobo, $350. So if your listing is probably the time to list, in my opinion. So
I mean, yeah, we're climbing back up again. I mean, we're getting back to those pre-COVID prices at least.
Yeah. I sold mine, so no big deal. Strange Fantasies #2, unrestored, very nice. Human Experiment, which is dope cover, $500. So it looks good to me. I love the roller coaster ride. It kind of gives me that Crimes by Reporter or Crimes of Women, Crimes by Women feel, all that other stuff. Sock Suspense 3. It has decapitated head panels. Only it's interesting because this says 3.5 and the book's 2.5, but $225. So not a bad price to get into that kind of book. $225.
Somebody goofed and copied somebody's listing and forgot to change.
I noticed that too because I copied a couple listings this week. I listed my Mr. Mystery 13 and Crimes by Women, and it's like, yeah, and in the description too, if you don't change it beforehand, it copies it, and then you try to go back and edit it, it takes the AI. I do the AI version one, so it's like the copy and make sure that the grade is correct on the listing detail.
Yeah, I've definitely gotten bit in the ass on that before and had somebody message me and be like, hey, so your title says this grade, but the picture of the book is this grade. I'm like, oh shit. Yeah. And I don't even play that game. I will just end it immediately
and relist
it because I am not trying to have somebody play the game of the book that showed up didn't match the description.
Correct.
And now, like I was like, nope, we're just gonna make sure everything's on the up and up. Because people have messaged me before and been like, oh man, I absolutely would have would have been cool with. I was like, nope, sorry. I will even sell it back to you. Like if I let it go the entire week and I don't catch it, I will cancel the sale and just be like, I will sell it directly back to you for the exact price that you want it at. But I need to put it up at the price that you want it at with the proper information because I'm not going to take that chance with CGC or with eBay being like,
negative.
Or that you sent them and then the person just keeps your fucking book and then, they're like, I didn't get what I bought. And eBay can do some real funky shit about not having people send stuff back and stuff. And I was like, nah, we're not going to play that game.
Today I got an offer. I just been watching books and stuff. Somebody sent me an offer. It was a $1,500 book. They said, great chance to get this deal. They gave me $50 off a $1,500 book. $50. Like, is $50 really? I mean, is that really gonna? Was it really? I don't know. Sometimes I just see sellers and I'm like, man, it's it was. A good old Spawn sketch cover out in England. So, $1,825. We'll call it for a Spawn 29 sketch variant. Sick. So somebody over there in the UK is one happy customer. I'll tell you that. So interesting. Hard to find.
Oh, wait a minute. I mean, this just means that the seller was in the UK. Doesn't mean that the book ended up in the UK. So
I know. I'm just saying, whoever found this book in the UK, probably got this for cheap. I would assume. So
yeah, probably.
Sick though. It is badass. I don't put too many Supermans on here, but I just saw this one was pretty high listed. Superman 1870, pretty crazy color, and it's got the date stamp, which is I'm a big fan of the date stamp. $6,000. So sometimes Superman can sell, especially in high grade, but I've been working on one of these. There's another one on eBay lying around. True Crime Comics #3 for only $350. This did have like the cover is detached. There's a lot of things wrong with it. There's one for like $500, but I don't think he's doing best offers. I think it's a buy now, but we'll see. Just things I see. So, and then last but not least, we're 58 minutes in, so I can show this cover. Verotech Illustrated #3, Monera 9.8, graded. Old Firebush.
I don't understand how, like.
You got to put tape over that, but you can have that.
Dude, I tried to post a cherry Pop-Tart #1 for like 6 months. And every time I would post a damn thing, within an hour of it being up, it'd get pulled down and it'd be like pornography and stuff like that. I was like, but other people would just tape. I mean, again, I was doing the exact same thing. Like like there was nothing on the front cover of that book, but the back cover has a pinup of like a parody of Vampirella, and so I would like strategically have pieces of tape, blocking all the stuff that you can't show, and then the book would just get flagged every single time. And I was like, this is where automation is so goddamn annoying, because I just wish I could email somebody and be like, what is the difference between all this other shit? Like, I mean, I've seen people not even bother on those naughty and nice to even tape over the shit. Like, it's just straight, fucking tits on the comic book cover. And I'm just like why Sherry Pop-Tart? And so I ended up having to sell it at a local show because I just could never post a damn thing.
I can't believe, and I'm glad it doesn't get like, you don't get dinged for it, or like somebody blocks your, like eBay, like AI blocks your account or something after so many,
Oh no, they will. I definitely like had that like almost happen with my account, and I was like, wait, they're like, oh, you like we thought you were posting some other random shit or whatever.
Yeah. Derek says, I just had an eBay listing removed for trying to sell outside of eBay. My description had a link to CGC grader notes. It's funny.
Yeah. It's like, can we just make the AI a little more intelligent that you guys are using to detect this shit? Because this stuff's not getting flagged by human beings.
Man, ChatGPT 25 will have it squared away finally.
Yeah.
That's all I got for the old marker report. I don't have any pickups. I picked up a bunch of stuff, but I got books I got to send out and stuff like that. I did sell a book. I sold Spider-Man 1, Deadpool 1, GameStop variant. I had a 9.2. I bought it for like $40. I got it graded and only came back at 9.2, which is kind of shitty, but I sold it for $130. So I mean, whatever.
Yeah, can't beat that.
We're pushing.
I probably would have had some stuff this weekend, but unfortunately, yeah. So it's funny, to Tony's point that he just mentioned. No lie, I'm sitting here looking at my desk right now. I have CGC order forms, and guess what's on there? Sandman 1, Sandman number 8. I'm just like, well, those aren't worth shit anymore now. Like, it's like, God damn it. Like, you couldn't have been just not a piece of shit. So
is this still worth something? Get this for $1. I don't know. I mean, what do you do with all this stuff? It's like, I don't know.
Because I mean, again, it's like, it's not even that somebody probably wouldn't buy it from me. It's more so like I feel icky trying to sell it.
Yeah.
Like, and so I'm just like, what do I do with that? Like, now
you just throw it when you go to make a big trade. You throw that shit in there for
Yeah, I guess that is sound logic. Like, instead of trying to take money for it, just trade it away and just getting it out of my collection and getting it into somebody else who actually doesn't care. And that actually probably does make a lot of sense.
This is like I didn't know this. I guess it's going up like $20 right now. I mean, I don't know. I feel bad. It's like not worth my time for the thing under $20. I hate to be that dude. I don't want to sound prestigious, but it's like,
But yeah, I mean, there was supposed to be a one-day show here in Atlanta that like is once a quarter, but they pushed it, I guess, because of the inclement weather that we had over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
We get a little snow and the stuff falls apart. So
there's ice. I worked down in Indiana. They had a little bit of, I mean, they had a bunch of ice, but it was shut down for like ever. I was gonna say there was a show up by me out in Lansing, which is like an hour away. And it was out in the Lansing. It's a Lansing mall, but it's a card show, but they have comics there, which is interesting.
Okay.
So it's this spot, so it's interesting. So it's Avery's Shoebox Sports Cards and Memorabilia. So in small they have comics there, which is, I don't know if I really want. Like, do you go there? I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, I've wandered into card shops before, and they had comics, and found some really good shit because of the fact that like their primary focus is the card stuff and the sports memorabilia, and so people will bring stuff to them, and they would like take it, but they didn't really know what they had, and I definitely cleaned up. I think that's actually where I got that ripped, like where half the cover was ripped, 0.5. Amazing Spider-Man annual number 1. I think, I bought it there for like $60-$100, and that was coming up right on Far From Home, and I think I ended up selling it for like just a hair under $1,000 as a 0.5 with like, you know, comfortably a third of the cover ripped off. So
nice.
So yeah, I never missed an opportunity to go to a card show that's got comics, because you'll probably be the only person there looking for comics, and there's potential you can clean up.
Yeah, so we'll see. Maybe I'll go to that. It's an hour away though. It's kind of a hike, but
yeah,
maybe it's worth it. I don't know. I just hate to go to. I mean, I guess it's just an hour out of my time, but still, just
yeah.
As I think about. Cool. All right, we kind of cut it short. We're all exhausted. We're all trying to do it all at the same time. We appreciate everybody. Tomorrow, me and Carter on Tuesday, and I'm back on Carter's show on Sunday. I might show up on a little bit on Brian's channel. I've been trying to show up on Brian's channel on Saturdays, so I'm gonna try to do it more. Hit us up, Dirty Flipper, doing it up. We're all chilling, doing stuff. Everybody watch football, hang out, and we'll talk to everybody later. So, deuces, everybody. Here we go. Let's go.